Sony is going through chaos internally. They just lost one of their co CEOs. They've canceled a bunch of live service projects that they've already dumped money into. They now have the largest failure in the history of the industry under their belt, with Concord costing them over $500 million alone. And just a few days ago, there were tons of Californian based employees who came out and said Sony had fired them, even though there was no statement made about that publicly. But now we're finding out that the Sony PlayStation Network outage has been going on for nearly 24 hours, and gamers are furious. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, when you are paying for a service or you need a service to work in order to play the video games you have paid money for, yes, you are going to be furious, and that is what is happening. Sony is facing the wrath of gamers now. So it says a major outage of Sony's PlayStation Network on Saturday has left tens of thousands of gamers unable to access online services, stores, and multimedia apps. This is not true. It is down for everybody, meaning there are millions upon millions and millions of gamers across the world who cannot access their titles and play their games and just have fun over the weekend. We are aware some users might be currently experiencing issues with PSN. PlayStation had said on its social media platforms, initially confirming users mounting complaints across the globe, but that's it. And this was at the start of the outages when not everybody's PSN was down. They had made it seem like, oh, it's just a small issue, we're going to get it fixed. But now that we're coming up on it being 24 hours long and they have not made any follow-up statements, that is a major red flag. Now, just a few months ago, actually, we had found out that Microsoft blocked a staggering DDoS attack, and people think that this could be the same individual or group that is doing this. We are not 100% sure because, again, they have not confirmed anything. We don't know if they broke something internally, if they're facing staggering DDoS attacks, or if even some of these fired employees have basically sabotaged them. Now, I do not think that that is particularly likely. That would take a lot of people to do and a lot of time, and typically when you're fired, oh, you're escorted out of the building and that's it. But there are a lot of question marks that we have at this point, and I would not put it past anybody to do something like this. We did just hear a few days ago, and I did another video on it, it will be linked down below, that Sony was silently firing tons of people, especially UI developers, people who didn't work on any specific games, but did work on, the UI for their products like the PlayStation 5 and PSVR and PlayStation Portal. And that could mean that even more people have been laid off who are higher up in the company. We know that the co-CEO, Herman Hulst, was just outed. It's not like he's completely gone from the company, but he was removed from the position of co-CEO, which also was not a very good look for them. And this is all on the back of them canceling a bunch of live service games and putting over $500 million into one single game, that being Concord, and them losing it. So right now, Sony is really going through a hell of a lot internally, and of course, gamers are memeing on them between their very angry posts. Here is a direct comparison to the great 2011 PSN outage. It went from April 20th to May 14th. 24 days long, okay? And Sony was also very bad back then about updating us on what was going on, but the services were restored after 23 days of downtime with compensation offered to PSN users, but personal data exposed for 77.1 million PlayStation Network accounts, and it cost Sony nearly $170 million. Insane amount of money. And they also had to compensate people, but there was personal data that was exposed, and that is what I am very worried about, that our data is going to be exposed, that there's going to be some kind of massive leak. It could happen, but they just called it an external intrusion and a data breach. But when the service has been down for nearly 24 hours and Sony has only said, oh, it's affected some people, and that was at the beginning, it is very worrying, and that to me screams that they are scrambling right now, and they really don't even know what they're doing or what's going on. I mean, maybe they have a general idea and they don't want to scare people before they have enough information, but it would be nice for them to acknowledge, yeah, this service is down for literally everybody right now. PS needs to revert back to two systems to use offline stuff. Shouldn't be locked out of games on my own account because I have two systems. They're just punishing people who own multiple consoles. This is a problem. Honestly, it's just embarrassing that they haven't even released any new statement. How they haven't learned anything is amazing. Sony has been very bad when it's come to communication. And yes, there are a lot of companies that do struggle in that department. They need to do better, especially in situations like this. Memory unlocked. No, for real. Do we think it's the same situation again? People are very upset, but also coping over this. It's still unclear that we're in the same situation at this point. Honestly, I play physical. If we get compensated for a few days like this, I'm down. Compare 16 hours with 3 weeks. How old are you folks? The issue is that we do not have any update at this point in time. Sony PSN has been down for an entire day, completely offline across all platforms, preventing online gaming, store purchases, games updates, etc. A service that costs users money to access. Steam never goes down. Steam is free. Be like Steam. Or also GOG, another really great platform. DRM free. PlayStation players checking Twitter every 5 minutes to see if PSN servers are up. Petition for PSN to give us some compensation into our PSN wallets considering the downtime. I think that if it goes any longer, it will be inevitable that they have to compensate people, but we know companies do not like to jump the gun in that regard. They love to be able to save as much money as possible, even if it kind of screws over the gamers that they need to continue to buy products on their platform. So if it goes for like a week or even close to the 3 weeks, then we'll certainly get compensated. But for now, I don't think that they're going to even, consider compensating people. 24 hours to them, while yes, is a lot of time, it's not enough to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. The two motherfuckers trying to fix the PSN servers right now, I think that this meme is absolutely hilarious and I love it to death. Me waking up thinking the PlayStation servers will be back up after I go to sleep just to see that they're still down after 14 hours, and this was 3 hours ago. So we're at 18 to almost 19 hours at this point. Sony should give everyone free PlayStation Plus for 6 months as a result of this outage. Like, if you agree, they would maybe give you a day for free, being like, hey, we know it was down for a day, we'll match that and we'll give it to you. Sony, when you ask, that's it after they give you Lego Horizon for free as compensation for the PlayStation outage. That is something that they would do because a game is selling so poorly, they give it to you for free. Hey, this could be a great marketing opportunity to relaunch Concord. Give it to everybody for free, put it on their consoles as soon as they boot the console back up. I mean, holy, they'd at least have 5 people playing the game. That's more than the 2 that were playing it at release. So right now things aren't looking particularly good for Sony, and this does suck for gamers because it's happening over the weekend. Like, not only is this the worst time for this to happen, just judging by the days of the week, but also Sony is going through a lot internally. So I will be curious to see if they give us any other information. I really do hope that it goes back up soon for the gamers who obviously use it religiously and want to be able to enjoy their weekend. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.